He is the Ghost Smoke Valley's great 10th thief. Fang Xing, our main protagonist of the story. He once believed that he would remain a thief forever, robbing the rich people to help the poor, returning good with good and evil with evil. But on that day, his life has changed. With only one sword, Xiao Jianming, a cultivator from the Qingyun sect, put an end to everyone in the Ghost Smoke Valley. According to this man, the Ghost Smoke Valley has always defended the people against injustice, and only executed those who should be executed. In addition, he told Xiao Jianming that as a Taoist, it is more his responsibility to speak for the common people in this world. He also asked him, why did Xiao Jianming choose to work for those corrupt officials to destroy the Ghost Smoke Valley? However, Xiao Jianming answered that he misunderstood because Xiao Jianming doesn't care who he is, and he suddenly executed this man with his sword. Fang Xing saw and heard everything that rainy evening. Luckily, he is able to hide. According to Xiao Jianming, the weak are only prey to the strong. Yes, this is a world where the strong dominate the weak. That's why I will become stronger, and to do that, I will enter the Qingyun sect to cultivate. Even if the people inside this sect have evil intentions, even if it is full of peril, sooner or later I will definitely become stronger than you, Fang Xing stated. At the present time in the Qingyun sect, these people were in line and they were startled while looking at our young protagonist, Fang Xing, who's begging to this fat man for him to accept Fang Xing into the sect. In addition, he told this fat man that he was once from a happy and wealthy family, but due to some vile men, his family of 300 all died. He and his sister are the only ones left and they have to wander around Jianghu alone. After traveling the world, he heard of the sect's mighty name and through the kindness of other people, came before this fat man. Fang Xing only wanted to find a master and learn Tao. However, this fat man asks Fang Xing if he has a recommendation letter, but Fang Xing immediately told him that he doesn't have an uncle. According to the narrator, Fang Xing thought that the word letter means uncle because both are pronounced shu in Chinese. The fat man asks him again if Fang Xing has any treasure to offer, or if he has a rare body constitution. But Fang Xing seems didn't understand the things that the fat man asked. So the fat man asked him if he even knew that place. Instantaneously, Fang Xing answered that it's the Qingyun sect. This fat man was surprised when Fang Xing knew the place. According to the fat man, the Qingyun sect has existed for 3 millennia in the Chu kingdom and holds a high level of respect and a powerful background. Every disciple within the sect are top-notch experts. Just recently, senior brother Xiao single-handedly wiped out the Ghost Smoke Valley thieves and killed 9 out of the 10 great thieves. In addition, this fat man told Fang Xing that no recommendation letter means he's a lowly person. No treasure means he's poor. No rare body constitution means he is worthless. All of a sudden, this fat man kicked Fang Xing badly and cursed him. He stated that the Qingyun sect is not a charity center. These people were startled while looking at Fang Xing. Some of them said that Fang Xing is really bold since he wants to enter the sect with nothing. Nonetheless, Fang Xing was enraged and he called this man a stupid fat pig. Luckily, the fat man did not hear him. I'm talking about you, stupid fat pig. You are so short and ugly and you still have the guts to scold this young master, Fang Xing stated. The fat man was shocked and told Fang Xing how dare him. However, Fang Xing was really angry at him while stating, what if he insulted this fat man? This young master only came to join the Qingyun sect just because he thinks highly of these guys. In addition, Fang Xing told him that next time, this young master will burn down their stupid Taoist temple. Suddenly, the fat man was out of patience. He tried to catch Fang Xing, but Fang Xing is good at running. This fat man was puzzled and thought that Fang Xing must be a thief. Fang Xing continuously played with the fat man and he told him to catch him if he could. Instantly, the fat man announces to everyone in the area that if anyone can catch the little brat, he will let him cut the line. Fang Xing was surprised at what the fat man did. In accord with him, the fat man was not fair play and make a dirty mode. Without a word, the people in this area are rushing to catch Fang Xing. But this kid is really fast, and this man told everyone that the little kid got out. Fang Xing just smiled at them while saying, this young master will leave now, you guys just queue until you die. Then he winked to everyone in the area while he was exiting the place. All of a sudden, someone suddenly pulled his leg, and he was caught by this man. The fat man quickly ran to them and thanked this long-haired man for catching Fang Xing. This long-haired man is Hu King and he told this fat man that catching this little monkey is a simple task so there is no need for thanks. However, the fat man said that he will first discipline the little bastard. Then he will bring Hu King forward to register. According to this fat man, he is an outer disciple of the Qingyun sect, so how dare a little beggar like Fang Xing insulted him. He also stated that, even if he couldn't take the life of Fang Xing that day, He will at least teach him a lesson that little Fang Xing won't forget. Nevertheless, the fat man suddenly stopped when he heard a voice ordering him to not hurt her young master. A little girl came out on the scene and headed to the fat man. Unfortunately, she stumbled to the ground. Fang Xing asks her why did she come since he told her to hide at the side and not come out. But this little girl was very brave because she's a beast hybrid, and she told the fat man once again to not hurt her young master. However, this fat man was puzzled and asked this little girl that a beggar like her has Mon for a slave. Suddenly, Fang Xing shouted to the girl and told her that her young master is more powerful than she thinks. Then he ordered the young little girl to get lost. But this little girl glanced at him and told her young master that if she didn't come, the fat man would have hit him. All of a sudden, Hu King kicked away the little girl. And unfortunately, the little girl crashed into a tree that caused her to bleed. Fang Xing was enraged and he told Hu King that he will execute him. Hu King just smiled at him and he told Fang Xing that he will be waiting. On the other hand, people in this area were shocked by what they noticed. There was a plant that suddenly grew where the girl's blood spilled. Straight away, this plant quickly grew and became a tree. According to this man who's still in shock, the little girl has the rare wood element bloodline. Out of the blue, people were startled when a beautiful woman riding on a white phoenix appeared. Outer disciple Yu Sanling bowed and greeted the senior sister Lingyan. Lingyan landed on the ground and headed to the little girl's body. While she's looking at the little girl, she extended her hands to the little girl's body and suddenly, the blood of the little girl came into the hand of Lingyan. However, Lingyan picked up the little girl's body, and she commanded Yu Sanling to add the little girl to the list of disciples entering the sect. While the little girl was out of consciousness, she is still saying to not hurt her young master Fang Xing. Lingyan asks everyone who is the young master of that little girl. Fang Xing screams to let him go. Then instantly, Hu King let him go. Fang Xing shoutedly introduced himself to Lingyan and he ordered her to return his slave to him. But Lingyan threw a bottle towards Fang Xing and told him that from that day onwards, the little girl wasn't his slave anymore. When Fang Xing catches the bottle, people in that area were all startled and according to this man, it is the innate purple Kai pills. Everyone cannot believe that Lingyan gave it to the stinking beggar. Some of them said that in order to help the Mon escape from her slave status, Lingyan even gave Fang Xing a spiritual elixir. Nonetheless, Fang Xing just stared at the purple Kai pills and stated that he doesn't want elixirs. Lingyan was confused at this moment. Fang Xing shouted at Lingyan and he stated that unless Lingyan will accept him into the Qingyan sect. Without a word, Lingyan ordered the fat man to count Fang Xing in as well, but his talents are average, so she told the fat man to do what he wants to Fang Xing. Then Lingyan hops into the bird and leaves the place with the little girl. Yu Sanling agreed to Lingyan with pleasure. At this moment, Fang Xing was confused about the place they were at. He thinks that he has been ambushed, so he asks this fat man again if that is the Qingyan sect. Yu Sanling was angry at him and told him that the place where they are is the Qingyan sect's herb field. However, Fang Xing asked the fat man why did the fat man bring him there. Because Fang Xing thought that he was a disciple of the sect now. Of course, it's to be in the herb field. Otherwise, where are the disciples of the Qingyan sect going to get their spiritual herbs for cultivation? Yu Sanling stated. Fang Xing was angry because he realized that he was going to be a laborer. While Yu Sanling is grabbing something from his pocket, he told Fang Xing that there are so many people who want to be there but don't have the connections. Nevertheless, Fang Xing catches his uniform given by Yu Sanling, together with his name tag and a little booklet. Fang Xing was confused and he asked Yu Sanling what the little booklet was. Yu Sanling explained to him that it's the Qingyan Forging Kai book, the basics that every disciple must learn. However, Fang Xing is just a child, so he doesn't even know what's the use of it. Yu Sanling was out of patience while explaining to Fang Xing that it is the secret of their Qingyan sect. Outsiders don't get to see it at all. In addition, he told him that, as long as he earnestly cultivates, according to the Qingyan Forging Kai book, he will reach the first level of the spirit movement and be promoted to an official disciple of the Qingyan sect. Suddenly, Yu Sanling laughed at him and he belittled him for his talent. At this moment, while this fat man was approaching to exit the facility, he told Fang Xing that if he had any other questions, he could ask the senior brothers in the Qingyan sect's herb field. Then he shut the door. In addition, he fiercely said that the senior brother in the Qingyan sect's herb field will certainly be kind enough to guide Fang Xing. At this moment, Fang Xing was trying to cultivate, but he said that he can still feel the Kai. He was doubting himself if he really doesn't have a talent to cultivate. On the other hand, he thinks that Lingyan tricked him since Lingyan told him that he will be a disciple, but in the end, he became some useless laborer. However, he expanded his fingers pointing to the ceiling and he told himself that once he reached the first level of spirit movement, he will be able to officially enter the sect. but he was wondering how long was that going to take him. While looking to this book given to him by his ninth uncle, he stated himself that he also don't know whether that thing will help him in cultivation or not. And according to him, it does kind of look like some peerless secret book. He also thought that his ninth uncle should have told him what that is before he gave it to him. Fang Xing tried to read the book, when suddenly he was startled after he read the Yin-Yang Divine Demon book. An extreme lightning power was surrounding his body, and when he tried to look above, the lightning power got into his body, including in his eyes. While he was surrounded by a powerful lightning, he was puzzled that it was the Qingyan Forging Kai book, a cultivation method for those in the condensing Kai realm, refine and gather Kai, can turn it into divine power. At this moment, the divine power was in his stomach, and according to him, it was the flow of Kai. He was really shocked by what he had experienced. All of a sudden, a water drops into his head that causes him to be awake. He was startled once again at this moment because he noticed that he was floating into the air. Instantaneously, he plopped down into the floor. In accord with Fang Xing, that book went into his mind. He was confused if it really was a peerless secret book. Not only did he feel the flow of Kai, the cultivation method of Qingyan Forging Kai books also came to his mind. However, Fang Xing's name tag fell onto the floor, but when he tried to pick up his name tag, suddenly a man's foot stepped on it. Fang Xing was startled while looking at them. According to this man, Fang Xing was just an ordinary child who offended Steward Yu, the fat man. Otherwise, he will just do what the fat man's ordered, which is to educate Fang Xing. Nevertheless, Fang Xing told him that he stepped on his token. But, all of a sudden, this man pulled Fang Xing's dress and told him to listen up because he will just say it once that in his place, Fang Xing was not allowed to talk back to him. Fang Xing was shocked while these three men were cheering for their boss. Fang Xing was worried and asked the man if they were all going to bully him. This man said yes, then he asked Fang Xing what he was going to do about it. Fang Xing told them that if they were going to beat him, he knows how to scream. But they just laughed and told him to go ahead since there's no one else there within a 10-mile radius, so he can scream his throat out and see if anyone cares or not. While he was still grabbing Fang Xing's clothes, Fang Xing suddenly cried and begged them to not beat him. In addition, he also told them that he will do whatever they say. This man throws Fang Xing to the floor and states that it turns out Fang Xing is just a coward. The little man also told him to relax and he will properly teach him. At the back of Fang Xing's mind, he only felt the flow of Kai, so he'll need time to cultivate. It will be better for him not to have conflicts. At this moment, Fang Xing was farming in the field while these four were just resting. He even washed their stinky clothes. They treat Fang Xing as their servant. Later in the evening, while these four are eating delicious food, Fang Xing was just in a corner eating porridge. Suddenly, he glanced at them as if he had an evil plan. At the present time, while the four men were sleeping, Fang Xing was just walking around them. And according to him, it's time to beat people up. He slaps the boss face and tries to wake him up, but the boss told him that it's the middle of the night. All of a sudden, Fang Xing was approaching to execute the boss using a knife. The animals in the surrounding area were surprised when they heard a loud scream, most especially these three bullied men. While Fang Xing was looking at his knife, he stated that he missed. Nevertheless, the boss was trying to attack Fang Xing and he asked him if he wanted to die. But Fang Xing used his spiritual Kai and immediately, his body was surrounded by blue flames. These three men were shocked by what they saw. Fang Xing managed to dodge his attack, and when he is still on the floor, Fang Xing stepped on him, while approaching to stab him once again. This time, Fang Xing hit him in the ass and he was screaming in pain. However, Fang Xing told him to go ahead and scream since nobody will care if he screams his throat out. These men were trembling with fear, while Fang Xing wiped his knife. "Sorry, I was a bit loud and woke my dear brothers up," Fang Xing stated. Nonetheless, these three men was begging to Fang Xing to spare them, and according to them, their boss is the one who forced them to bully him. In addition, they told Fang Xing that they are just ignorant, and they beg him to not mind their insignificant characters. However, Fang Xing just laughed at them and said, "Of course." The next day, we can see that the four men are now the ones who are doing the farming, while their boss Fang Xing was just on the other side and relaxing. This man glanced at their boss Fang and told him that the spiritual herbs he collected are all over there. But he was shocked when his basket was empty and he asked his boss Fang if he had already used up everything. However, Fang Xing just ignored him and asked him what's his progress with the Qingyan Forging Kai book. Instantaneously, this man answered that he's been practicing daily for 6 years but still, he cannot feel the flow of Kai. In addition, this man told Fang Xing that the rest have been there for 3 years and can't either. Only 1 or 2 of 10,000 laborers like them can become an outer sect of disciples every year. Still in all, this man gives a thumbs up to their boss Fang Xing and stated that, with their boss Fang who can already sense Kai, that is already 1 in a 10,000. Fang Xing just smiled and ordered them to go and wash his clothes properly, and automatically he followed his order. Fang Xing was confused at this moment, and at the back of his mind, he should have eaten enough spiritual herbs already, but he's wondering what's the issue, why hasn't he broken through? At the present time, while Fang Xing was reading the book, this man was also doing his best to impress their boss Fang. On the other hand, Yuewen was just observing and looking at them from the top of a mountain. Suddenly, he was startled by what he saw. He tried to rub his eyes to make sure if what he saw was right, and when he tries to look at them again, he was really shocked. He asks himself if he is hallucinating. He was also confused that the kid is ordering people around. At this moment, while these people are farming, a man's foot suddenly stepped into the herbs plant. Wang Zhai was really angry while looking up and asking the person if he's blind, but he was surprised when he saw Yuewen. Right away, they bowed to him and Wang Zhai told him that he is the one who's blind. However, Yuewen asks Wang Zhai if where's the animal. Wang Zhai was sweating while answering Yuewen that the animal is sleeping inside his room. All of a sudden, Yuewen pointed his sword to Wang Zhai and angrily asked him if it's his idea to make him wish he was dead. Wang Zhai just kneeled to Yuewen and he explained to him that this one is incompetent, the animal was too cruel. Wang Zhai also told him to look at his leg. If he hadn't given in at that time, he wouldn't have a leg left. But Yuewen kicked his face and told him that Wang Zhai is useless since he cannot even defeat a little boy. However, Wang Zhai told Yuewen that he didn't understand the situation. That little animal has somehow formed a spiritual Kai and they can't even hit him, let alone get close. Yuewen was surprised when he heard it, and he asked these men for confirmation if Fang Xing really managed to form a spiritual Kai. Instantaneously, these men confirmed to him that they were sure and they saw it with their own eyes. Yuewen was thinking at this moment. Suddenly, he ordered these guys to bring him to Fang Xing, and then he glanced at them and commanded them to go and pick some herbs from the field as well. But Wang Zhai told him that picking herbs for personal use is a serious crime. However, Yuewen just told them to stop worrying and just get them for him because he has his own ways. Then these boys followed his order. In the meantime, Fang Xing was meditating and slowly opened his eyes because he was worried that he still couldn't break through to the next level. Nevertheless, while he was still trying to break through to the next level, the boys together with Yuewen suddenly came up and angrily stated, Fang Xing, a laborer of King Yun's sect, you have committed the crime of deceiving your superiors and subordinates, having no regard for law and order and picking herbs for personal use. Then he throws the basket that has the stolen herbs as evidence and he questioned Fang Xing what he has to say for himself. However, Fang Xing just smiled at them and said that it's his pig brother. Then he asked him if he tries to frame him. Yuewen responded to him that, what if he was? He is the steward of that field. According to him, if Fang Xing will go with him to the medicine department to receive punishment, Fang Xing might get a lighter sentence. But if Fang Xing would dare to retaliate, he told him to not blame him for what he will do next. But Fang Xing was also enraged this time. While his body was surrounded by flames, he told this pig brother that he won't be at his mercy like before. However, Yuewen advises Fang Xing to not think he can just do whatever he wants, just because he's formed a spiritual Kai. And at the back of Yuewen's mind, to think that Fang Xing actually managed to do it. The speed of Fang Xing's cultivation is really shocking. At the same time, Fang Xing also thought that no matter how, this fat pig was also an outer sect disciple. Yuewen's cultivation should at least be in the first level of spirit movement, and he would definitely have much more spiritual Kai. In accordance with Fang Xing, he should end it before his Kai runs out. At this moment, Fang Xing was approaching to attack Yuewen by kicking him. But Yuewen managed to defend himself using his sword. Yuewen was surprised by the powerful strength of Fang Xing. However, Fang Xing continually throws a kick to his opponent, while Yuewen also continuously defends himself. Suddenly, the sword of Yuewen was broken by Fang Xing's kick. And according to Yuewen, it is bad because the kid can use his Kai to strengthen his body. That's why Fang Xing's blows are heavy. Nonetheless, Yuewen ordered these men to go away. And immediately, these boys ran quickly. This time, Yuewen uses his power and he is surrounded by blue swords. Then he tells Fang Xing that he gave him no choice. Yuewen attacks Fang Xing using the flying blue swords, and it looks like a rain of swords heading towards Fang Xing. Luckily, Fang Xing was able to use a technique with his hands, and the flying swords have been blocked by his shields. Fang Xing was confused as to what it was. According to Yu Sanliang, that is the sword formation that can be activated in the first level of spirit movement. He even told Fang Xing that with Fang's cultivation level, he won't be able to escape it. Indeed, Yu Sanliang was still surprised that Fang Xing could form a Kai, but he additionally told Fang Xing that this is where it all ends. While Fang Xing was struggling with Yu Sanliang's attack, Yu Sanliang asked him how it was, and in addition, he told him that as long as Fang Xing respectfully nodo 3 times and refer Yu Sanliang as his. But Fang Xing interrupted him while angrily saying, "In your dreams, you stupid fat pig." However, Yu Sanliang was out of patience, and he was preparing to execute Fang Xing this time. Suddenly, Fang Xing was startled while looking at the flying swords coming towards him. Fortunately, he was able to dodge the attack, but Yu Sanliang told him naive while gritting his teeth, and he suddenly threw another attack to Fang Xing. At this moment, Fang Xing was shocked while looking above. He saw in his own eyes that a flying blue sword was going to hit him. Out of the blue, he recalls his past life when the authorities took advantage of the poor. "You unruly people, do you think you can stop delivering food to the imperial court just because you were hit by a disaster this year?" Stated by this fat man. In addition, the fat man also told them that, even if they starve to death, they must still hand over their food to the imperial court. However, the parents of this kid refused to hand over the grain, so they got executed. Even this kid dared to hide the grain and not hand it over to the authorities. Nevertheless, this fat man was approaching to execute the little kid, and he told the villagers that on that day, he will let the troublemakers take a good look at what will happen if they don't hand over their grain. Then he attacked the child using his sword, but blood suddenly splashed on the child's face, and when this little kid looked above on what happened, he was shocked by what he saw. Fang Xing slashed the fat man's stomach, and this fat man was groaning in pain. The people in this village shouted, "It's the thieves. The Ghost Smoke Valley thieves are here." On the other hand, Fang Xing asked this child why he was kneeling, but this little kid didn't answer him. Rather, this child told him that he heard about the Ghost Smoke Valley, and he also asked him if Fang Xing would execute this little kid. However, Fang Xing told him that the Ghost Smoke Valley never executes the common people, otherwise only dog officials and profiteers. This little kid was stunned by what he heard, and he suddenly asks Fang Xing if he can join the Ghost Smoke Valley because he wants to take revenge for his parents' death. But Fang Xing told him that he was still too young. Then he advises him to come to them when his hair has fully grown. This little kid was confused. In the meantime, a man was laughing while looking at a poster. "Look, our little tent has a wanted poster already. Except, this looks nothing like him," stated by this bald man while laughing. However, Fang Xing told his ninth uncle to stop